I'm gonna harvest some of this basil and we are gonna make the most amazing dish for lunch. So here's some of the basil we're going to be using in our recipe today. And basil is so good for you. It's very high in antioxidants. It helps fortify your nervous system and your digestive system, and it's good for headaches and insomnia. It's good as an anti-inflammatory. So there's so many good reasons to grow and eat basil. So this is one of my favorite pasta dishes to make in the summertime just because the flavor is so fresh. So here I have some fresh basil that I've just picked, some olive oil. These are some nice cherry tomatoes. I have a few cloves of garlic chopped up here, some salt and some pepper. And then I also add just 1 teaspoon of sugar. And so what we're going to do is just chop up the tomatoes, the basil, add the salt, the pepper, just combine all of the ingredients. We're going to put it in a bowl and wait a couple of hours to let it sit and get happy, and then we're going to add it to some pasta and it is going to be so good. So what we want to do now is just cover this up with a bit of saran wrap, or if you don't want to use saran wrap and be a bit more green, you can just put a plate over the top of it. And you want to let this sit for at least 2 hours if you can, and just put it right on your counter. Just let it sit for a couple of hours, let the flavors marinate, get all happy, and then we're going to make our pasta and put this on the top. And here's how our beautiful pasta dish looks. And of course, no pasta dish is complete without a nice helping of Parmesan cheese on the top. And this is gonna make a terrific lunch. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a try. That is so good. It's so fresh and delicious. With the tomatoes and the basil and the garlic, it's a beautiful, perfect marriage of flavors. So hope you give this a try and enjoy it. And I'm really happy with how this area of my garden turned out. So I really made an effort this year to not spend as much money on flowers. I did buy some, but here what I did was I got lavender plants right here. So these are perennials. So that lavender plants will usually have a lifespan of about 10 years and they'll just keep coming back. So that's what I decided to do here. And then over here where I planted some geraniums for color, normally what I would do is I would buy them when they're a bit bigger so that it would just be like instant color. But this year what I decided to do was I just bought them when they were little seedlings about this big, and I was able to get, you know, a package of 6 for just like a few dollars. So I bought, I think, 3 or 4 packages of those. So I spent, you know, a fraction of what I normally would. And I just kind of made my own little planters with the geraniums and just waited for them to grow up. And then here I have a planter of mint. So the nice thing about having the mint and the lavender around is it actually helps deter mosquitoes. So that'll be really nice when we're eating outside and mosquito season just kind of kicks in, and that will just kind of help deter them a little bit. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And just so you know, it's not too late to plant stuff. So even though it's July, and I mean, I live in zone 8, so it may be different where you are, but here I planted some bush bean seeds, and I'm going to plant these when they get a little bit bigger, probably in about another week or so. And bush beans are awesome because they really don't take up a lot of space, and if you have a small garden like I do, they don't take up a lot of space and you will still get a yield. Now the yield will not be as much as if you were to plant them in the spring, but you will still get something, so it's worth it to plant them. And I'll show you what they look like when they're bigger.
these are my bush beans here. So as you can see, if we look down here, I've really got this really beautiful little crop of beans right here. So I'm going to pick these today. But bush beans are great if you have a small garden like I do, because they only get to be about a foot tall and a foot wide, and they don't need to be staked or pulled. And they're just so easy to care for and maintain. So it's definitely worth it to have bush beans in your garden. And the other thing I'm going to be planting is zucchini. So I planted some zucchini seeds a couple of weeks ago. As you can see, they've come up nicely, and I'm going to plant these. And once again, the fall, like going into fall, you won't get as big as a yield, but you'll still get something. So again, just worthwhile to plant anyway. I have this little section in my garden, and at the base of our cherry tree, we put a little fairy door. And you know, I never removed it. I always had it there just because I think it's a good reminder for us always to keep our sense of wonder and playfulness in life. Because I think sometimes as adults we forget to play, and it's important to keep that in mind and have that sense of magic just to renew our spirit and our energy. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.